Gwaltney Group RE results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE results and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning. Welcome to Saturday. It's Andy Brownell along with Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE results. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. Back to reality.
Hope everything's going okay for you.
It is. I had a blast in Nashville. We got to see friends that we hadn't seen in a while. The weather was perfect. The steeplechase races was quite an experience. But unfortunately, we went and got run down. And, I had my second thoughts about going on the plane without a mask, even though you can, and most people did. I didn't. I didn't wear one, and I'm kicking myself for it because, sure enough, I came home from Nashville and tested positive for COVID.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, so I had a whole week off, a week of just being at home resting, unplanned.
Not the way you want to spend a week off, though.
No. I mean, I could work a lot from home, which is nice. I just couldn't go out and show houses, so I had to rely on team members. But again, the power of a team, none of my clients missed a beat because somebody was there to be able to show them what they needed to see. So I just, I tried to watch movies, but you know what? I was so tired that every time I'd try to watch a movie, and maybe it's just because I'm not used to sitting still, I would just fall asleep. But I got much needed rest, and now I'm fired up and ready to go. I'm going to be showing houses later today, and so ready to be back into the swing of things.
Well, I'm glad you're doing better. I'm beginning to think it's inevitable that we're all going to get it eventually.
Of course. I mean, I had both of my vaccinations. I had a cough. That was about it. That's
been my friends and family members who have come down with it now, who have been fully vaccinated and everything. That's what they're describing as well. Mm-hmm. Fatigue. So.
It's not good. I mean, it's not fun to not feel well. And of course, the biggest thing is you don't want to spread it to anybody. So you have no choice but just lock yourself up at home. That was the hard part for me.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But I did it.
Well, there we go. Onward and forward, as they say.
Yeah, there's houses to be sold. So, it's time to get back to work.
So, have you received an updated market report lately? Because I'm always interested to hear what those numbers are.
Yeah, let me get that. I have it from just Thursday or Friday, I think. We have, as of, what's the date today? The 20th?
21st already.
21st. So as of the 19th, so a couple days old. As of the 19th, we had 168 active listings. So not a lot. Up. Well, I mean, was it? Oh, yeah, because I think it was 150 something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yep. 379 pending listings. So they're coming on and going off. In the last 6 months, we've had 898 sold. So what does that put us at? Well, depending on what price range, but geez, if we're looking at 200,000 and less, we have less than a half of a month of inventory.
Oh, gosh.
Between 200 and 300, we have 0.7 months, so 3 weeks worth of inventory. 300 to 400, we have 3.5 weeks worth of inventory. 400 to 500, we have a month's worth. You getting this? I mean, we don't have a lot. 500 to we need listings. Yeah, 500 to 600, we've got a month and a half's worth of inventory. 600 to 700, we've got 2.3 months worth of inventory. Okay, you're in good luck if you are looking to buy something between 700 and 800 because there are 16 houses currently listed in that price point. So we've got 4.8 months, almost 5 months worth of houses between 700 and 800. So if you're a seller and that's your price range, you might want to hold off just a bit on that, unless yours.
Or if you're a buyer, you can take your time looking at whatever house you want to look at.
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, check them all out, all 16 of them. And between 800 and 900, there are 3, so there's a month's worth. And between 900 and $1 million, there are 6. So that is 6 months worth of inventory. Okay. And from between $1 million and $2 million, we can really see now where these interest rates are starting to affect this higher end. Because if you remember, at one point when the rates were crazy low, we were seeing the highest and going the fastest. Remember that? Because people were like, oh my God, I got to get this house and get locked in because before somebody else beats me to it. But now we have 4 between $1.1 million and $1.2 million. We've got 3 between $1.2 million and $1.3 million. And we've got 8 houses over $1.4 million. So we've got 7 months worth of inventory over $1.4 million. Actually, we've got like 12 months worth of inventory above $1 million. Period.
Okay.
So if you're looking in that high end, hopefully you're a cash buyer and you're not worried about the fact that the rates have gone up. And you can take your time. And like I said, you can look at all of them because there's quite a bit of inventory compared to what we've had recently.
But at that price range, before the rock bottom interest rates came along, wasn't that almost the normal inventory level for that?
Oh, yeah,
price
definitely.
level?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and so it is normal for the high-end market to take longer to sell. There's going to be fewer qualified buyers, all of those things. But it just got to the point when you could lock in at 2.25%.
Right.
People were like, now's the time to spend $1.3 million because my payment's going to be the same as it would have been if I had bought a house for $950 a few years back.
Yeah, imagine that. There were people, there's no way I could have ever afforded that home except for now because the interest rates are so low.
Yes, exactly. You're exactly right.
Wow.
So, yeah, anyway. So the market is, people are wondering this, so I'm just going to say it. Has it become a buyer's market? No, I'm so sorry. It's still very much a seller's market because we still have that supply and demand issue. There are still many more qualified buyers than there are houses for sale. So it's still a seller's market. Now, that being said, are they still flying off the shelf in, 12 hours? Are we still getting multiple offers? Some are, some not. Some are taking 18 days to get sold.
Which is still really fast.
Well, of course, I'm being a little facetious, but I mean, it's like people are like, my house has been on the market 2 weeks. Yes, and the average days on market is 18 right now. So it'll be all right. They're still going to sell. You're still going to get top dollar for your houses. You may just not have as many offers to rifle through, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Right. And so much of what you do is what you just did, right? The education component of this, sitting down with people and saying that market a year ago was a unicorn. That's probably never going to happen ever again.
Right.
This is still not a normal market. This is still weighted towards the seller, but it's getting closer.
So on this market report that I just had in my hand, I think the last time we talked about it, I think it was 17 or 18 days. This time it's actually 20 days. So, it's the interest rates going up a bit are doing exactly what they were set out to do.
Yeah.
Balancing things out.
And I saw a headline in the Star Tribune that in the Twin Cities that their inventory is increasing fairly significantly because people are looking at the interest rate and they've been on the fence as to whether or not to sell. And so now they are selling because they are concerned rates could go a bit higher.
Well, and what they're hearing is that they're not getting into those bidding wars anymore because now when people have to spend $50,000 over, that $50,000, if they are getting a mortgage, that $50,000 is costing quite a bit more than it was at, a lower interest rate.
Sure. It changes every day, I bet.
Every single day. That's what I love the most about this job, You have to stay current. You have to know what's going on. You have to know how to, I have to know, I'm not going to talk third person. I have to know how to guide my sellers, how to guide my buyers, and how to, keep them educated on just exactly what is going on in the market. And that is why I read all these articles every week. Well, that and so I have something to talk to you about. But no, I mean, it's because I do need to know. I have to be in the know. I have to understand the market. Otherwise, I cannot hardly market myself as a professional. As an expert.
Well, we'll get some more knowledge from you in just a moment.
All right.
We'll take a quick break and return with more of Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here, too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent, too?
It's called service.
Insurance with a local agent? It's called service. Call State Farm agent Tim Letcher in Alliance today.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may...
Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results with us this morning here on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. So, Robin, as we're living in the new environment of more normal interest rates, and the shoppers are out there still looking for homes because it's still misbalanced. Are you seeing them making an adjustment for the price points of the homes they're looking at to reflect the higher interest rates?
Yeah, we're seeing a couple types of adjustments, actually. So, I've talked a lot about people have more equity in their homes now than they have had, historically, because it used to be a big deal when you did have equity. You borrowed against it, used it for other things, whereas a lot of people, the banks haven't been as quick to do that, just after the 2008, 9, 10 crisis. Yep. So a lot of people have built equity, but that being paired with the fact that prices have gone up so fast, they've increased, the values have increased so rapidly that nearly half of the U.S. homeowners are considered equity rich. And, we've talked about that. So if they're selling that first house to buy the next house, it gives them more money to put down. And, of course, when the rates were super low, people were like, yeah, I'm still going to put the bare minimum down because it costs so little bit to finance the money anyway. I'll take this equity that I have and invest it somewhere else. So now that's shifting back to, okay, I'm going to take all the equity out of my house and put it down so that my monthly payments are less. But it puts them right back in the position of having a lot of equity into their home. So again, I don't see this as a bad thing.
Well, this is what people did all along.
Right.
If you built up equity in your home and you moved to the next level of home, you use that equity to
but you can see why
borrow as much.
Right, but you can see why if you could be borrowing it at barely over 2%, why you might second guess that and say, why would I take all this equity and put it toward the house when my payments are only, X number of dollars by each $1,000 you borrow.
And that's why you always say look at the payment, not the price.
Yes. Yeah. And now so more than ever. I mean, I always say, let's talk about what you're comfortable with in your budget, the monthly payment. I don't care if they tell you I'm approved all the way up to here. Let's think about what it's going to cost you each month, and that's what we'll focus on. Because even now with the, people having more equity in their homes and they can put more down, if all it takes is putting more down to get the payment to where they're comfortable, then I would say, yeah, that's a great idea. I mean, your money is in a very safe place when you have it in the house. How many times have you heard me say it's the bank account you can live in, right? So it's money in the bank and it serves as your shelter at the same time. So it's good.
It's called a win-win.
It's a win-win. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And you look at the gains in the home values over the past 2 years because of those freakishly low interest rates. When you mentioned that we're equity rich, over 50%, I don't find that surprising at all.
No, exactly.
Most homes in the Rochester area, and I won't say most, but a lot in certain price ranges, they were up $50,000 in a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's not going to happen again.
Nope, probably not.
No.
Let me just read a little bit from this article. It says nearly half of U.S. homeowners considered equity rich. As home prices continue to increase, homeowners are getting richer and richer. About 45% of mortgaged residential properties in the U.S. are considered equity rich, were considered equity rich in the first quarter, which is up 32% from the previous year.
Wow.
So yeah, those soaring prices and value increases are definitely helping people. There's no doubt about it.
Well, the level of security you feel with the investment you make. It allows you to live your life in a different way because of that sense of security that, wow, I have this much equity in this home. It's a nice foundation, let's put it that way.
So I was just talking about how people are putting more down. Quite a bit more. As a matter of fact, down payments have rose by 174% from the first quarter of 2021 to the first quarter of 2022. So before they're like, no, I'll keep my money, invest in the market, or do something else with it and borrow that money. Now they're like, no, this is a good place to put my money and borrow less. So
it all equals out in the end somehow.
It all equals out in the end, which is why we focus on that monthly payment. I tell people the chances of you doing what your parents did and actually owning this house for 30 years and paying it off, probably not going to happen. People are moving around way too much, changing jobs, exploring the country, deciding to put their roots in where they like to live and want to live. It's just different.
And you've mentioned before, our community is especially that way because of, it's always been that way because of the Mayo Clinic. We just have this constant churn.
Which makes it a really awesome place to be a realtor because, we'll have people come and they're just here for 4 years and then all of a sudden they get offered a position so they decide to stay, but they want to sell the house they started in and move into a bigger one. And then somebody they know that's coming into the department needs, and it just goes and goes and goes, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good place to be, isn't it?
For so many reasons.
And when you were mentioning a year ago when the rates were so low and people were opting not to put the big down payments down and invest it, the only thought that came into my mind was, oh my goodness, I hope they didn't go to cryptocurrency with that money.
I know. I mean, I know some people who think that's just the best exciting thing. I'm like, I'm sorry. Call me old-fashioned. If I can't touch it and feel it and see it, it ain't for me.
Yeah, I've had it explained to me numerous times by...
Me too, but it still just goes right over my head.
Well, even if I understand it, I look at them going, not for me, thanks. It's not going to happen. Do you
remember that story that was in the news about that poor guy that had all those millions and had to remember a code to get it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, my God, I was so anxious for that poor person.
And I never heard it. Did he ever?
I don't think he ever got it.
Oh.
I know.
Makes me nauseous just to think of that. That's terrible. Okay. We'll take a break, we'll come right back with more of Robin Gwaltney at Gwaltney Group RE/MAX results here on News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9.
If you're in HR, you're probably wearing
Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340, KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. We're talking real estate with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results this morning. Robin, the interest rates have been bumping up, as we all knew they would bump up. Are these interest rates pretty well standard across the board for every lender? Is it, this is the rate and this is what you're going to get?
That's a really good question. People, I'll hear people Google, like, what's the 30-year mortgage rate? Now, these are all averages. The numbers you're getting are all averages. You definitely have to compare from lender to lender because you're not always going to get the same. And there are some lenders that do have better rates, whether it's because they have more investors with more cash or their equity position is better, whatever it is. Sometimes I actually heard something a little off track, but just came to me that some of the banks are offering a lower mortgage rate on FHA than they are on conventional right now.
Wow.
And I thought, well, that's crazy. But I mean, I guess it is true because I looked into it and it was true, but it's not necessarily true at every single institution. So every bank is not the same. Every mortgage company is not the same. And boy, I've always preached that you want to compare your products from one place to the next, and not just the interest rate, but the other expenses that come along with it.
Oh, sure.
Because sometimes they'll hide behind a lower interest rate, but then they charge other fees, which in the end cost you more than if you had gone with a little bit higher interest rate. So very important to have, a good, dependable lender that works with a reputable institution that can give you those, really good, what am I trying to say, competitive rates. So if anybody is listening and needs recommendations for lenders, I'm definitely a good resource for that, because please do compare. I read an article in the Realtor magazine that said most borrowers are not even comparing their mortgage rates. 56% of borrowers who they interviewed went with the first rate that they were quoted.
Oh, and when you're talking about a $400,000 house, a quarter percentage point could be a big deal. Of course.
Yes. My gosh, you got to do comparative shopping. I get that you have a good relationship with your bank, and I love that. I'm a relationship person. I'm all about that. But I've done it myself. If I'm not going to switch my bank account because I can get it for a 0.25% lower somewhere else, but I am going to go to my bank and say, hey, I could get it for this price at that bank. Can I get it for that price at this bank? I mean, you got to work for your, work a little bit.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. I had to laugh when I read an article that said new home buyers were face rising rate surprises. Really?
That's a surprise.
That's the only thing that's been in the news. Or building materials are pressing even higher. Yep, we got it.
I being in the business I'm in, I've never understood that, how people go through a day and not a single bit of the news enters their consciousness.
Yeah. So what we do need to focus on is we are equity rich, and people are seeing more. They have more profit when they're selling their house, which then puts them in a position to put more down on the next house. So with more down, even with the rate going up a little bit, you still can get a great rate. And guess what? If you have to scale back a little bit and buy less house than you thought you were going to, it's still going to be a really solid investment and a really good decision. And in the long run, it's going to be more profitable to you than it is to stay in that rental. Well, not even in the long run, in the short run,
yeah,
right?
Especially if you're coming from a rental, yeah.
Yeah. So
and then,
I do have
and also the homes are still moving really quickly, too.
Yeah, I have some couple of them that are coming on the market that I think will sell really fast, and one that is already out there available that we've had quite a few showings so far, just one offer, but I think it'll be sold really fast as well. But
okay.
I think they're okay, no, they're not all the same price, but we have 3048 15th Avenue Northwest. It's a tuck under, kind of a multi-level, or split, I guess it is. It's just got a big foyer. Anyway, that one is 3 beds, 3 baths, and a 2-car garage, big fenced backyard, and it's just kitty corner from John Adams Middle School.
That's what I thought when you said the address.
Yeah, and that one's 249.9. And then we've got one at 2515 25th Street Northwest. So that's Sunset Terrace, area over on the other side of the highway. That one is 249.9 as well, and that's a 4-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage built in 73. And that's, okay, 249.9. And then we've got another one that's a nice price point. That's 4402 Glen Lane Northwest. So that's in Lincolnshire, but the part that's closest to the park, as you're coming behind the IBM buildings.
Yes.
I think it's Mayo now. Yeah, Mayo. Anyway, that is 3 beds, 2 baths, and a 2-car garage. It doesn't have a huge yard, but what it does do is it butts up to the park. So it seems like you have this humongous yard, but you're only responsible for mowing a small portion of it. So it's kind of a plus, right? And that one was built in 87 and is listed for $329.9. So all 3 of those are available if you're in that kind of hot button price range.
Yeah.
And we're seeing more and more things continuing to come on the market, which is really a big relief for those people who've lost out quite a bit and, hadn't been able to. Some people had given up. I talked about that. They were just burnt out. Like, we've lost 3 times or 4 times.
Right.
We can't take it anymore. And so now those people are coming back on the market saying, hey, you know what? I was able to offer full price and actually get this house. And, that's awesome. So a lot of my team members have been telling me success stories with the
That's great.
buyers that they've been working with.
And the price ranges you just described, I remember it wasn't that many months ago where you had maybe 1. And this week you're telling me there's 3 of them. So that's a hopeful sign, too.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sign. So it's still very much a seller's market. Sellers are still getting top dollar for their homes. Homes are still selling relatively quickly, but it's not as stressful for the buyers as it would have been a few months ago. You know, you don't have to make a split-second decision. You don't have to waive your inspection, waive your this, waive your that, promise this, promise that, give them your third born to get the house, you know. So it's getting a little more normal.
Sane.
That's a good word. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, Robin.
Yeah, of course.
Do this again next Saturday, and you have a great week.
Thank you. In the meantime, if anybody needs me, my cell phone number is 507-259-4926.
Great. That's Robin Gwaltney with Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results. News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9.
News Talk.
The weather is warming up, so it's a great time to enjoy a perfect day in Golden. Just minutes away, you'll find something for the whole family. World-class trails for hiking and mountain biking, a leisurely stroll along the creek, or captivating museums and galleries. For the beer lovers, the Coors Tours are back open, and we have 9 craft breweries to enjoy. For more information, go to visitgolden.com. The perfect day is closer than you think.